Bruce Lee kick, you don't shake your eyes. Because when you shake your eyes, you cannot see Bruce Lee kick. You know how fast?
Put water into a bottle, it becomes the bottle. You put it in a teapot, it becomes the teapot. Now water can flow, or it can crash. Be water, my friend.
Bruce Lee was more than just a martial artist. He was a phenomenon. His lightning-fast speed, powerful strength, and impressive skill seemed almost superhuman. With a career that spanned movies, TV, and real-life competitions, Lee's impact on martial arts was immense. How did one man change the game forever? What secrets lay behind his awe-inspiring technique? Let's explore 50 amazing moves from Bruce Lee that stunned the world. The 1-inch punch. Bruce Lee could knock a grown man down with a punch from less than an inch away. This amazed scientists, who studied how he did it. He also used this skill to teach and inspire future martial artists. But this was just the simplest of his moves. Stay tuned for even more shocking ones. Dislocating a shoulder with a slap. Bruce Lee's strength was incredible. During training, he once dislocated a partner's shoulder with just a light slap. This was shocking because his opponent was a skilled martial artist, yet he overpowered him effortlessly. Powerful kicks that sent people airborne. Bruce Lee loved testing his strength with a special training shield. He let people hold it, then kicked it with different forces. His kicks were so strong that they could lift people off the ground, showing his amazing power. One-fingered push-ups and one-armed pull-ups. Bruce Lee could do push-ups using just one finger and perform one-armed pull-ups with ease. Some say he could do up to 50 in a row. These feats showed his incredible strength and control over his body. But wait, it gets even crazier. Faster than camera film. Lee's movements were so fast that cameras couldn't capture them properly. While filming the Green Hornet, his punches looked like a blur. He had to slow down his moves so the audience could actually see his fights. Invincibility in street fights. Bruce Lee often faced street fight challenges, but no one could hit him. He was too fast and skilled. Even on movie sets, when people tried to fight him, he easily dodged their attacks and taught them a lesson. Lightning-fast coin trick. Lee's speed amazed everyone. He placed a coin in someone's hand, stepped back, and told them to close their fist when they saw him move. Before they could react, he had already swapped the coin with another. Now, that's mind-blowing. The dragon flag. Bruce Lee created one of the hardest core exercises, the dragon flag. He held his body straight and lifted it off a bench using only his shoulders. This move became legendary and is still practiced by athletes today. Catching rice with chopsticks. To improve his reflexes, Bruce Lee trained in an unusual way, catching rice grains in midair with chopsticks. It may not seem like a martial arts skill, but it helped him react faster in fights and perfect his speed. Heavy bag, too strong for ordinary people. Lee's punching bag weighed 300 pounds and was filled with metal. A normal bag would break under his strikes. Some say he could even kick it so hard that it hit the ceiling. His power was unbelievable. Bruce Lee kicking a hanging light. Bruce Lee's high kicks were legendary. In Harlow, he trashed an office and jumped to kick out a hanging light. He repeated it in The Way of the Dragon, intimidating henchmen by effortlessly striking the light with a powerful kick. You have to see it to believe it. Bruce Lee trapping O'Hara. Bruce Lee's fight with O'Hara in Enter the Dragon showed his mastery of trapping. Meeting at the wrist, he pinned O'Hara's arms, preventing defense while striking repeatedly. His blinding speed and precision made it impossible for O'Hara to react. Bruce Lee's armbar on Sammo Hung. In Enter the Dragon's opening scene, Bruce Lee fought Sammo Hung using striking and grappling. After landing fast punches, he transitioned into an armbar, forcing Hung to submit. This was rare in movies then, proving Lee's ahead of his time martial arts knowledge.
What is the highest technique you hope to achieve?
To have no technique.
Very good. What are your thoughts when facing an opponent?
There is no opponent.
And why is that?
Because the word I does not exist.
The flying sidekick move. Bruce Lee's flying sidekick was both fast and devastating. In The Big Boss, Fist of Fury, and Enter the Dragon, he used it to knock opponents off their feet. The slow-motion shot of him kicking Han remains unforgettable. It's almost hard to wrap your head around it. The spinning heel kick move. Bruce Lee's spinning heel kick was a powerful and graceful move. Twisting his body for momentum, he struck opponents with his heel, delivering knockout blows. In Fist of Fury, he landed it perfectly, leaving enemies stunned or completely knocked out. Bruce Lee's grappling in Game of Death. In Game of Death, Bruce Lee added grappling to his fights. Against Jihan Jai, he countered throws with takedowns. Against Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, he used chokes and joint locks. These techniques foreshadowed modern MMA decades before it became popular. Bruce Lee, taking out multiple opponents. Bruce Lee's ability to fight multiple enemies at once was unmatched. In Fist of Fury's dojo fight, he dropped 8 opponents with rapid kicks. In Enter the Dragon, he used fast, precise kicks to take down 11 enemies in seconds. The quintuple roundhouse kicks moves. Bruce Lee's 5-hit roundhouse combo was brutal. He first kicked his opponent's legs, breaking their stance, then moved to the head for a knockout. This combination, seen in Enter the Dragon and The Way of the Dragon, showed his incredible control. The next move, you won't believe it. Using nunchucks. Bruce Lee's nunchucks were an extension of his hands. In Enter the Dragon's cave fight, he spun, twirled, and struck enemies with perfect timing. His nunchuck battles in other films proved he was just as deadly with weapons as unarmed. Bruce Lee's sidekick. Bruce Lee's sidekick had unmatched power. Practicing with Taekwondo master Jun Ri, he perfected it. In Enter the Dragon, he sent O'Hara flying across the room with a single kick, showing just how strong and precise his strikes were. Smack and snack. Bruce Lee could hit someone and grab a snack at the same time. In one move, he smacked an opponent, disarmed him, and casually picked up food. His speed was unreal, making it look effortless while his opponent stood shocked. Nut punch. Bruce Lee's groin punch was brutal. He dodged, dropped low, and punched straight into the target. The opponent collapsed instantly. His accuracy made sure the hit landed perfectly every time, turning a simple move into a fight-ending strike. You simply can't make this up. Houdini shirt off. Bruce Lee could take off his shirt mid-fight without losing focus. In one smooth motion, he slipped it off while staying ready to strike. It wasn't just flashy. It showed his insane body control, balance, and ability to move effortlessly. Compulsory sit-down. Bruce Lee could make opponents sit down whether they wanted to or not. With just the right push, he sent them straight to the ground. It wasn't brute force, it was pure technique, using their own movement against them. Snake slap. Bruce Lee's slap was faster than a blink. He struck like a snake, whipping his hand out and smacking his opponent before they even realized what happened. It wasn't just fast, it was designed to shock and leave them defenseless. Flying sword. Bruce Lee once kicked a flying sword right out of the air. A weapon was coming at him, and with perfect timing, he sent it spinning away. His reflexes and accuracy were so sharp that even weapons didn't stand a chance. Shocked? Just wait until you hear the next one. Spinning people. Bruce Lee's kicks didn't just knock people down, they spun them in the air. A well-placed sidekick could send an opponent flipping before crashing to the ground. He knew exactly where to hit to make the impact look effortless. Fruit ninja. Bruce Lee could slice fruit out of the air with his hands or nunchucks. He swiped at flying objects and hit them every time. It wasn't just for fun, it was proof of his insane reflexes, control, and deadly accuracy. 1-2 kick. Bruce Lee tricked opponents with his kicks. He faked a low kick, making them react, then instantly switched to a high kick that landed before they could adjust. It was fast, sneaky, and often left his opponents completely stunned. Steel-bending grip. Bruce Lee's grip strength was unreal. He could bend thick steel rods with just his hands. His training with hand grips and wrist exercises gave him an iron grip that could crush apples, tear phone books, and overpower stronger opponents. That's just unreal. Wall climbing with no hands. Bruce Lee sprinted toward a tall wall, planted his foot, and propelled himself upward without using his hands. He ran several feet up, then flipped off effortlessly. His ability to generate height and momentum made this movement look almost supernatural. Blindfolded combat. Bruce Lee trained blindfolded, reacting purely to movement and sound. Even in total darkness, he could block attacks, counter moves, and strike with perfect accuracy. His heightened awareness made him almost untouchable in real fights, shocking those who faced him. Jumping over cars. Bruce Lee's leg power let him jump over moving cars. He once leaped over a speeding vehicle in training, clearing it without effort. His ability to react instantly and generate explosive height amazed everyone who saw his athleticism in action. Bare-handed brick breaking. Bruce Lee broke stacks of bricks with just his bare hands. Unlike others who used palm strikes, he used his fists and fingers. His ability to generate such force without injuring himself was a testament to his conditioning and strength. Bruce Lee's moves just keeps getting better. One-legged balancing feat. Bruce Lee could balance perfectly on one leg while performing punches, kicks, or push-ups. He trained this way to improve stability and control. His ability to move smoothly while maintaining balance showed his deep understanding of martial arts mechanics. Explosive back fist. Bruce Lee's back fist strike was one of his fastest moves. He could snap his arm forward, hit, and retract before his opponent reacted. This attack often landed before the enemy even realized what happened, making it nearly impossible to counter. Instant stance switching. Bruce Lee switched stances so fast that opponents couldn't predict his next move. He moved from southpaw to orthodox instantly, adjusting angles for attack or defense. This constant motion confused his opponents, giving him an edge in every fight, tearing metal cans open. Before aluminum cans were thinner, Bruce Lee crushed and ripped open steel cans with just his fingers. His grip strength allowed him to tear through thick metal as if it were paper, shocking those who attempted the same, but failed. No-touch knockback. Bruce Lee demonstrated the ability to make opponents stumble backward without even touching them. His sudden movements and energy projection made people lose balance. Some believed it was mind games, but his mastery of motion made it feel supernatural. Now, that's a moment to remember. Moving so fast, he created wind. Bruce Lee's movements generated noticeable gusts of wind. When he punched or kicked, the sheer speed displaced air so strongly that people nearby felt it. His strikes were not only powerful, but moved faster than most people could comprehend. Stopping punches mid-strike. Bruce Lee could throw a full-force punch and stop just before hitting his target's face. His control was perfect. His knuckles barely brushed the skin, proving he had absolute precision even at top speed. This level of control stunned everyone. The silent step. Bruce Lee moved with such precision that his steps made no sound. He practiced shifting his weight carefully, distributing pressure evenly to avoid noise. This allowed him to approach unnoticed, making his movements unpredictable in both training and combat. The gentle but powerful touch. Bruce Lee could destabilize someone with just a light touch. By applying subtle pressure at precise points, he manipulated balance and posture, causing people to stumble or fall. His deep understanding of body mechanics made even his softest movements incredibly effective. It's almost like magic. The last-second counter. Bruce Lee waited until the final moment before reacting to an attack. He remained still until the opponent fully committed, then intercepted with blinding speed. His ability to read movements allowed him to strike first, despite reacting second. The precise elbow strike. Bruce Lee's elbow strikes were brutally effective at close range. He angled them perfectly to maximize impact, targeting ribs, jaws, or temples. His strikes were fast and compact, requiring little space but delivering enough force to instantly incapacitate an opponent. The never-blinking focus. Bruce Lee trained himself to keep his eyes locked on opponents without blinking. He conditioned his vision to track movements without losing focus, allowing him to anticipate attacks instantly. His intense gaze made it nearly impossible to surprise him. The training tire kick. Bruce Lee used a hanging tire to refine his kicking power. He launched precise strikes, causing the tire to swing violently. He practiced controlling its movement, striking with enough force to send it spinning, but always regaining balance immediately afterward. Brace yourself. The next one will surely blow your mind. Neck crank submission. Bruce Lee mastered the neck crank, a brutal grappling technique where he twisted an opponent's head sharply, applying immense pressure to the spine and jaw. This move could cause extreme pain, momentary paralysis, or even unconsciousness if executed with full force. Finger jab to the eyes. A signature Jeet Kune Do move, Bruce Lee's eye jab was so fast that opponents couldn't react. He precisely targeted the eyes, disrupting vision and causing immediate disorientation, making it nearly impossible for the opponent to continue fighting effectively. Standing backflip kick. Bruce Lee executed a flawless backflip while delivering a powerful kick mid-air. This move combined incredible agility, balance, and explosive leg strength, allowing him to strike opponents in the head while evading attacks, leaving them stunned before landing effortlessly. Lee's one-inch punch. Bruce Lee's one-inch punch is the most well-known move in martial arts history. As its name suggests, the one-inch punch is a technique martial artists use to hit targets at incredibly close range. The thought that, if done right, an attacker can exert enough force to bring down his opponent makes it unique. Bruce Lee's one-inch punch gained widespread recognition as early as the 1960s, about 10 years before Lee rose to prominence as a global martial arts celebrity. Lee became famous when he demonstrated it at the Beach Karate National Championship. At the time, the martial arts community took notice of him widely. Interest in Lee's one-inch punch increased dramatically as his notoriety increased. Although Lee made the move so famous that many renowned martial artists from different kung fu forms now utilize it, Lee remains the most well-known practitioner of the technique. Keep watching. The story is just getting interesting. Lee did not come up with the one-inch punch suddenly in 1964. It is based on Chinese martial arts in general and the instruction he received as a teenager. Lee's martial arts expertise began in the 1950s when he trained under Wing Chun Grandmaster Wing Chun, who laid the groundwork for Lee's form of kung fu, Jeet Kune Do. The one-inch punch's tenets derive from its theory, since Wing Chun is a fighting style for close quarters. Lee was already acquainted with techniques designed for close-quarters combat because of his training in Wing Chun. Before the one-inch punch was publicly unveiled, Bruce Lee's pupil, James DeMille, provided insight into Lee's development method. He claimed that Lee developed an enhanced version of an already known Wing Chun move. Lee attempted to shorten the technique by experimenting with various stances and angles, since he thought it would be more effective if performed from a closer range. Eventually, they found a combination that worked. Lee demonstrated its power once by throwing someone 16 feet back and landing them squarely in a chair. Lee's accuracy, instant execution, speed, a crucial attribute for which the actor is currently well known, and the precise angle at which he accomplished it are all responsible for his accomplishments. Bruce Lee's one-inch punch is mighty because of his speed, which is also one of the reasons so few martial artists have been able to replicate it so well. Lee's father taught him the foundations of martial arts. During his teenage years, Lee got entangled in gang disputes in Hong Kong, which resulted in a lot of street battles. Lee's studies of Wing Chun had the most significant impact on his development as a martial artist. After suffering defeats at the hands of rival gang members, 16-year-old Lee trained in Wing Chun under Ip Man in late 1956 and early 1957. Form practice, sticking hand drills, wooden dummy techniques, and free sparring were the main components of Ip's regular lessons. The classes followed no predetermined schedule. Between 1956 and 1958, Edward, the coach of the St. Francis Xavier's College boxing team, trained Lee in boxing. In 1958, Lee defeated Gary Elms, the defending champion, via knockout in the Hong Kong Schools Boxing Championship final. Following his relocation to the US, Lee was significantly impacted by heavyweight boxing champion Muhammad Ali, whose moves he observed and adopted into his style during the 1960s. Lee advocated mixed martial arts training and was especially interested in grappling. In addition to Jean Labelle, Lee received instruction from several judo practitioners in Seattle and California, including Fred Sato, Jesse Glover, Taki Kimura, Hayward Nishioka, and Wally J. He studied as much as he taught, and many of his early pupils were skilled in judo and other martial arts. On the set of The Green Hornet, Lee became friends with Labelle and offered to teach him striking arts in exchange for learning grappling tactics. Lee's grappling tactics. Prominent grapplers Lou Thez and Ed Lewis had taught Labelle to catch wrestling, and vital judo and catch wrestling techniques can be found in Lee's Tao of Jeet Kune Do. Ji Han-jai, the Hapkido instructor, also taught him some grappling techniques. Glover claims that Lee's main observation about judo's ineffectiveness was when it came to seizing the opponent. During their first training session, Glover demonstrated an Osoto Gari for Lee, which Lee thought was a good technique, but he didn't appreciate that Glover had to cling to Lee. Lee learned how to avoid being tackled or taken to the ground by opponents while living in Seattle. Glover said that Lee would not go to the ground if he could get you standing up. Still, Lee told Labelle that he wished to incorporate judo into his fighting technique. He added judo throws, arm locks, and chokeholds to Jeet Kune Do, including the Osoto Gari. Lee showcased grappling moves in his films, including Way of the Dragon, where his character finishes his opponent Chuck Norris with a neck hold inspired by Labelle. Lee felt grappling was not very useful in action choreography because it was not visually distinctive. In addition, Lee and Han-jae trade grappling techniques in Game of Death, and Lee uses wrestling to subdue Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's character. The training regimen of the Great Gama, an Indian. The Dragon Flag Bruce Lee was an extreme sportsman. According to his widow, Linda Lee, he would watch TV athletes perform full splits and never miss an opportunity to work out. Bruce's wife claimed that he would practice and hone his talents virtually every minute of the day. He knew he would need to put in a tremendous deal of practice and exercise to be the best martial artist in the world. Building up his core was Lee's top priority out of all the muscles in his body, since he felt that the stomach region, or core, is involved in practically every movement and is crucial in martial arts. Lee created what is now known as the Dragon Flag in his honor to strengthen his core. It is regarded as one of the most challenging core workouts available if you can't figure it out. Since Lee didn't play around, though Lee is said to have been able to sustain his entire body on the edge of a bench with only his shoulders touching anything, while the rest of his body remained perfectly rigid and horizontal to the ground, Stallone may have popularized the move in Rocky IV. These days, martial artists worldwide use Bruce's Dragon Flag exercises as a standard because of his ability to make martial artists understand the value of having strong core muscles. Stay tuned. The best part of the video is just around the corner. Lee's superhuman strength. Bruce Lee's sheer power is one of his accomplishments that many people fail to recognize. Although it may seem apparent that a martial artist must possess strength, most people are unaware of Bruce Lee's actual level of strength. Most people think that having very massive muscles equates to strength. Most likely, when you imagine someone who is powerful, you envision someone roughly 6 feet tall with more muscles than they could need. But Bruce Lee was a tiny man, but he possessed strength beyond the reach of most people's imaginations. Examining his training bags is a simple method to demonstrate this. Bruce practiced punching and kicking with training bags like other people do, but he would devour these packages in an instant. He would frequently pound through or rupture standard punching bags to the point where it became inconvenient for him to use them. Bruce would therefore have to locate denser, heavier sacks that would not break under the impact of his extraordinary power. Remember that a typical punching bag weighs roughly 50 kilograms. However, Bruce frequently had to utilize bags weighing more than 135 kilograms. According to reports, Bruce was able to kick these bags many feet into the air, which just served to highlight how amazing things are. Bruce could send these sacks moving, but if you tried to kick one yourself, they probably wouldn't move more than an inch or two when you made contact. Bruce Lee understood the human body like a pro. Not only could he perform an astonishingly high quantity of push-ups, but he could complete them with just one hand. He was once put through a test to determine how many push-ups he could complete. Bruce boldly decided to go further and challenged himself to perform push-ups with just 2 fingers. He accomplished more than 200 push-ups in this try. Later, he set a higher standard and accomplished at least 100 push-ups using his thumb. If that weren't enough, he frequently performed hundreds of pull-ups with just one hand. But there's still another awe-inspiring accomplishment. Bruce Lee could perform more than 1,500 consecutive push-ups without pausing if you were to judge him only on his standard form. Although that is utterly unbelievable, that is the reality. There was no man like this. That's not all. Bruce Lee enthusiasts have long known this, but those unfamiliar with martial arts might not. Bruce Lee was acclaimed as one of the world's best martial arts actors when he shot to fame in the 1960s and 1970s, but he came dangerously close to failing in the film industry. You might wonder why, since he was just too quick. Filmmakers could not capture Bruce Lee's movements in real time when they worked on The Green Hornet, one of his most well-known TV series. We now own cameras capable of recording at 30, 60, 120, or even 240 frames per second. However, most cameras in the 1960s and 70s had trouble recording film at a speed of only 24 frames per second. As a result, most of Bruce Lee's fight scenes appeared incorrectly in the film. As the filmmakers soon discovered, Bruce could throw 9 punches in a second. In addition, he had a 6-second kickoff speed. Bruce appeared motionless in numerous combat scenes because capturing his movements on a camera that could only capture 24 frames per second at most was difficult. Producers on the set then claimed that the footage they captured showed Bruce standing still as his foes descended around him. In actuality, though, his talent was too outstanding for the movies to match. The filmmakers had to ask Bruce to slow down so they could follow him properly, which helped to correct the dilemma. But even after that, his movements appear quite hazy on camera. If you enjoy watching martial arts movies, you've watched Karate Kid before. When you watch the movie again, you probably remember a scene where Daniel LaRusso practices using chopsticks to capture flies. What looks easy on the surface turns out to be quite challenging. Bruce Lee, though, would go one further. Regretfully, there was never a flawless photo of this accomplishment. However, according to reports, Bruce Lee would throw pieces of rice into the air and use chopsticks to catch them. He took this action to sharpen his reflexes in the most remarkable manner imaginable. He was reportedly very expert at it, seeing the rice practically every time it was thrown into the air. His reflexes were significantly quicker than any of his rivals at the moment. And after all these years, nobody has been able to equal or exceed his achievements. It seems so complex that many people today question whether Bruce Lee was able to accomplish this accomplishment at all. However, this is simply one more instance of Bruce Lee's superhuman abilities. Jeet Kune. Bruce Lee is the creator and practitioner of Jeet Kune Do, also known as JKD. It is a hybrid martial art that translates to Way of the Intercepting Fist in Chinese. It developed as a new school of martial arts philosophy from Lee's experiences in unarmed combat and self-defense and eclectic Zen Buddhist and Taoist beliefs. As an eclectic martial art, it relies on a fighting style heavily influenced by Wing Chun, Tai Chi, Taekwondo, boxing, fencing, and Jiu-Jitsu. Bruce Lee himself never formalized Jeet Kune Do before his death, forcing later JKD practitioners to rely upon their interpretation of the philosophy created by Bruce Lee. The central idea of Jeet Kune Do is the interception of the opponent and making corresponding responses or counterattacks that strike at incoming attacks. JKD also incorporates principles to help practitioners make instant decisions and improve the physical and mental self. The story just got much more enjoyable. 4 universal combat truths that Lee believed were self-evident and, if followed, would lead to combat success were incorporated into Jeet Kune Do. He thought that the 4 combat ranges in particular were crucial to his development as a total martial artist. Additionally, mixed martial arts are mostly tied to this principle. The intercepting idea comes from the belief held by JKD practitioners that a potent offense is always the best defense. Lee thought an opponent had to approach a target to attack them. This presented a chance to intercept that assault or motion. Intercepting physical attacks is not the only application of the interception principle. According to Lee, many nonverbals and telegraphs, subtle motions that an opponent is blind to, can be read or intercepted and utilized to one's benefit. Forming the offensive aspect of JKD, the 5 ways of attack are attacking categories that assist practitioners of Jeet Kune Do organize their fighting repertoire. The defensive part of JKD consists of the ideas of stop strikes and stop kicks, and simultaneous parrying and punching, which were taken from European fencing and Wing Chun's principle of simultaneous striking and defending. Lee adapted these ideas for unarmed combat and incorporated them into the JKD framework. Additionally, these ideas support the other interception principle. Lee said martial arts systems ought to be as adaptable as feasible. He frequently utilized the analogy of water to explain why flexibility is a valued quality in martial arts. Water has limitless flexibility. It can be seen through, yet it may also sometimes make objects invisible. It can break apart, circumnavigate obstacles, reassemble on the opposite side, or smash through obstacles. It can flow by the tiniest pebble or slowly lap at the toughest boulders to dissolve them. These are the qualities Lee thought a martial system ought to possess. Because of this rigidity, JKD students reject conventional fighting tactics, training regimens, and Confucian pedagogy in traditional kung fu schools. JKD is an incredibly flexible, dynamic idea because it is constantly changing. Bruce Lee is credited with saying, "Take what is beneficial, throw away what is useless." It is encouraged by JKD students to study every possible kind of warfare. This is thought to increase one's understanding of other combat techniques, build up one's armory, and teach one how to counter such strategies. Lee, the magician. If you've ever watched a magician up close, you've undoubtedly seen this timeless trick of taking a coin from behind someone's ear. Most magicians master this fundamental trick at some time in their careers. Unbelievably, Bruce Lee used to execute an identical feat for his followers. Bruce Lee would offer you a coin and place it in your hand rather than hiding one behind your ear. He would want you to extend your hand as far apart as possible. Bruce then had you close your palm before he could take the coin from you, detecting even the slightest movement on his part. No one could ever stop this man from taking the coin out of someone's palm because of how fast he moved, but Bruce continued to refine the trick over time, making it even more impressive. Bruce would not only take the penny before the person could close their hand, but he would also replace it with a different one. Whenever you believed the situation was under control, he would open your palm and show you that a new coin had been inserted. Imagine, please, if this man had chosen to use his abilities for evil rather than good. He would have been an expert swindler. Fortunately, Bruce made a far more honorable life choice. Which move surprised you the most? Which one seems superhuman? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Also, click the next video shown on your screen. You will enjoy it.